A law firm is preparing to file a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Russian President Vladimir Putin, accusing him of playing a role in the airliner attack. That's according to the British newspaper, the Sunday Telegraph. The law firm released a statement to the paper and to other news organizations. Part of it reads, "Those immediately responsible are not only the separatists who are alleged to have fired a rocket at flight MH17, causing the death of hundreds of innocent victims, but those, be they states, individuals, or other entities, who provided them with financial and material support and the means to do so." The Telegraph reports that law firm could file its first class action suit through U.S. courts. The separatists deny shooting down the plane, and Russian officials say the Ukrainian military may be to blame. Kent Zimmermann is a former trial attorney. He's also columnist for the National Law Journal. Kent, a British law firm suing the Russian government in U.S. courts. It's a pretty unusual combination.
It is unusual, John, but it could easily happen. The Russians have business interests, they have money here, and they can get sued here just like a Russian company can. And just think back to Libya in the Pan Am 103 Lockerbie bombing. There was a similar claim against Libya, and that claim caused the Libyans eventually to agree to pay $2.7 billion to the families. So something similar could happen here.
So are we talking about Vladimir Putin potentially losing his personal fortune? Would they be going after money from the Russian government?
I would not be surprised if they go after all of the above, money from the Russian government, personal money. Now, the question of what they will get, that's another question. And I certainly wouldn't expect you to see Vladimir Putin testifying in U.S. courts. They would likely want to make that happen, and he would be very unlikely to agree to do that. But they're going to go after everything they could possibly get. Think of this in comparison to a simple street crime. You've got Russia and Putin at the head of that enterprise being accused of being an accessory to mass murder. That's what this case will likely focus on. It's very bad, by the way, PR-wise for Russia. It just paints them as an evil villain in a country that stands for mass murder of innocent civilians. It's really trouble for them.
But they are already seeing those kinds of accusations in the press all over the world, and Vladimir Putin's personal popularity, at least among the Russian people, I don't think has ever been higher. He's at 90% popularity right now. He just shrugs it all off.
You know, in the short term, this may help him politically at home. In the long term, I think what he's doing runs counter to his goal. He wants to make Russia, he says, one of the strong leading countries in the world. And he's really running that country into the ground. This will cause Russia to face sanctions. It will cause them to lack investment. There are already many major institutional investors that no longer want to invest in Russia, and many are already pulling out now.
And do you think, I mean, would they have a difficult time proving this kind of a suit? I mean, he is the Russian head of state. It apparently was a Russian-built rocket launcher. Is it that much of a stretch?
You know, you ask about a challenge, and there is a major challenge. The big challenge is that the physical evidence, as you've reported, is not secure, and in fact, investigators are having a hard time getting to that site. So just compare this to a traditional street crime. If there was a murder somewhere and police couldn't get to the physical evidence at the crime scene, and that crime scene was contaminated, it would make it harder to prove the murder and to get the person who's accused of the murder convicted. So that is the biggest risk to this suit being successful. But there is other evidence, of course. There's satellite evidence, there's other intelligence evidence. So I think it's entirely possible this suit could have legs, even though it faces some challenges.
So keeping that crash scene really in chaos is to Putin's benefit from this standpoint, at least. Kent Zimmermann, we got to say goodbye. Thank you.